Hi, everyone. Welcome to another session of HubSpot Hacks. We will be discussing this week everything to do around the operational hub. And I think it should be very interesting. Unfortunately, Jocelyn from HubSpot, who's a senior marketing manager, had a personal issue at the moment, and there's a conflict, and she was not able to join me today, but we will set up a follow-up HubSpot Hacks webinar with her in the next couple of weeks. So we'll be able to go through what she wanted, because I'm assuming that a lot of you guys are interested in dirty data cleanup and other operation HubSpot use cases. I said, instead of canceling the event, I think it makes sense for us to still go through this and discuss a few things that are relevant here. So we can wait another 1 or 2 minutes, see if anyone else is joining, and then we can dive in and I can show my perspective on the operational hub and what we have. Let me start sharing my screen. So what I can show here is actually I want to show you, if you guys go into pricing in your portal and you go down to operations. So again, how do I get to pricing? I go to pricing and features. Inside here is a good way for, first of all, for you to understand what other features you could probably add if it's missing in HubSpot. This is obviously the entire suite, but here you have the different products. And if you go down to operations, this is always a good place to understand. I have lots of questions. Is this part of starter, professional, enterprise? What do we actually need? So I think it's a good idea for maybe us to start here, see what the pricing is, and what subscription could be relevant for your needs. So obviously you have monthly and you have internet. So I have either starter, professional, enterprise. And then here you can actually compare between the two, but you can actually see here what are the free tools. So if I start with historical sync, we'll go through these default field mappings, emails, and then once I move to Pro, then I get scheduled workflow triggers, data quality, command center. This is what we're going to focus on today, obviously. Programmable automation, AI-powered data formatting, data health trends, and bulk duplicate management. And then if I want to move to enterprise, then obviously I can upgrade and we'll have Snowflake data share, advanced permissions, customer objects, advanced data calculations prep, and data sets. So the good thing about this is if you scroll down, you see all the features. So you can see here what's in the marketplace. One thing you do need to take into, and then I would click on see your features and it shows you everything you need. Okay, this is obviously everything to do with operations, and then you'll be able to see what you do have and what you don't have. So for example, webhooks, and we'll go through that in a second. One thing you do need to take into account, that if anyone is using any of the apps or connectors through the marketplace, there's a good chance that you're going to have to upgrade to operational starter anyway, which is actually an opportunity in itself to start playing around with the tool. And why is that? Is because that it gives you custom fields. So most of the connected apps, if it's Pipedrive or anything else that you're using, you'll see what it will give you. Let's say I wanted to add Pipedrive here. So why would I need to have, because what it will do is it will give me just the basic fields, okay? And then what I would need to do is, you can see here, is that I would need to, in order to get all the fields that I want in the back end, so for example, if I wanted to set that up, I would want to make sure that it's compatible with the relevant HubSpot plan. And then you would need, again, Sales Hub Starter. So that would give me, move me from default mapping. Okay, so I'll have custom mapping. And then that is really important because, let me open this. I will be able to have custom mapping, otherwise it just does not work. Okay, it gives me the basic custom properties. See, so that's very important. It allows me to use custom properties and custom field mapping. So that's where you need to be. So if you're connecting any of the apps that are in the marketplace, in order to have custom field mapping, you need to already move to operational starter. Okay, so that's the first place for you guys to, and you can also use the calculator here and work out how much it is, and if there are any add-ons. In this case, you'll see there's a reporting add-on, but that's less relevant. So let's go in deep dive into the actual operational hub. So let me open 1 second. I've got my test account here. I have my test account here, and you'll see that where is the actual operation hub? It's in a few places. So obviously we'll show you in workflows, and the second part is actually in data management. So if I go into data management under reporting, I can already click on what's called the data model, which is a good idea to see. This, first of all, irrelevant of what we're talking about, is very important. It allows you to show the connections of all objects, and you can play around with this. The actual objects that you've created, and what is the connection between them. Okay, so anyone who's in charge of all the data, this is a map that you can actually view, obviously, and show me the entire data and how all of the objects, the CRM objects, the custom objects, how all of these are connected. So if you scroll over, it shows you what associations have been set up and so on. So that's something important to know. Second that I can go is what's called data quality. So you'll see this is a brand new monitoring tool. And this is, again, is already in the back end of the operational hub. And so I can decide, if I go back to what I'm looking for, to actually start monitoring. So I said data quality, okay. It shows me what's happened, again, in this week. And again, this is really good for admins. Go in this week or last week, and it shows me how many properties, how many total records were created in a certain time. If I have formatting issues or duplicates, okay, I can see I have formatting issues, duplicates I don't have. Again, this is this week. Let's say I'm looking at the last 3 years. Obviously, I don't have enough data on this portal, but this allows me to play around with it. And then it actually shows me no data, unused duplicates, and then I can go, and I'll show you in a second, formatting issues or duplicate issues. So for example, duplicate issues is interesting. I can open that, and that is already something that pulls us into two things that already exist on every portal, even if you don't have Operational Hub. But once you move to Operational Pro, then I can actually do deduping inside HubSpot in a very clever way, where I can decide that I want to now merge all of these companies, okay? And we'll talk about merging in Salesforce for a second. If you have Salesforce, it's more of a challenge. But I can merge just by click on review, and it will tell me exactly how the merge works and based on what criteria. So for example, if I want to use most recently updated or created first. Once I move to the operational hub, it allows me to do all of them at once. If not, I can do one by one, and you click on review. You take a look at which one is the relevant one. So here you can see it looks like the same company, but there's Pierre and there's Leslie. Are these the same people? Obviously, the email is different, and I can say, no, these are two separate people, reject. Okay, and it will disappear from it. Here I can see that, so obviously contacts will not have the same email, but I might see that Lillian and Julia are the exact same person. So in this case, it's not. Companies have the same thing. So for example, I've got State of Alaska and State of Alaska, it's the same name, but the domains are separate. So I need to understand, is that the same company or not? So sometimes you might have the exact same domain and sometimes something separate. You'll be able to go in and look at this and decide, do I merge these over or not? So for example, Petrostar and Petrostar, I see it's the exact same thing. So I say, okay, well, you know what? That's fine. Let me merge between them. And there I can go forward. Again, if I have Salesforce, then there's no way to merge it. And I'll talk about in a second. There are other ways to merge it. Now, if I go back, we've got formatting issues, which is something else that we can set up. You click on View All, and it takes me to formatting issues. So this is really powerful. And you can see I have 6,153 total formatting issues. Some of them are names, some of them are email. And it allows me a location. It allows me to actually see what's going on. Okay. And obviously I can set up an automation in a second of a missing or unexpected capitalization. Okay. So I can say, okay, this doesn't make sense. Let's accept, and it will change it. Here I've got first name and then last name. So here the first name and last name might be combined. So I can actually say I want to fix that or reject it, or I can automate that. So this allows you to actually already create a rule. You don't have to think of what needs to be created, but you can actually say, okay, what rules? So I want to see that always capitalize the first letter of the first name, for example. So now it allows me to create automations. Capitalize last name, make sure it's always capitalized. Make email lowercase, that's great. And then I can see here, remove last name from first name field. Okay. So we need that. I would wait for a second, but here we go. First name punctuation. I can set up all of these automations. So now I have these automated already. And you keep going. Okay. So here I can go through each one and decide, or I can do it, accept and reject, and in one shot make all these changes, and I can do the same thing. So here you can see mainly we have issues with first name and last name are combined because these are obviously the emails that came in. So what happened now is that it's actually just been fixed. Let me show you what happened now. So now I have Steve, and if I go into the actual record itself, so what did HubSpot do? It took Steve, okay, and took it out of the email and put it into the first name and last name. So I've got Stephanie, and then if I go into last email, you'll see that this has been fixed. So this is really powerful. This allows you now to go in and, again, I got a reporting, data management, data quality, and I've already dealt with duplicate issues and formatting issues. What else do I have with formatting issues? I also have location. So here I can see a different format may be preferred. So this is the country, the proposed, no, this is what I want to see. So it's okay, well, this is not. I actually want the country to be Israel and not the proposed version. Okay, so reject that. again, I obviously have separate fields here, and then I can go and play with the performance here based on the value is empty. So maybe I want to move this over, and it's going to push in the information that I'm getting. So you have a lot of options here to actually update the data. Okay, that's brand new, I can see. And obviously here, this email looks like it's invalid, so you can either keep it or remove it. So again, I've got automations now. I've already started setting up. And I've got issues maybe with the data sync. It depends what I've been syncing to, what apps. Issues with workflows, I can see I don't have. But it also shows me now unused workflows. So it's a good option for me to actually go and see if something makes sense. So I can click in here and see, okay, these are all the workflows that I've set up that are not switched on. So it's all the ones that are used for need review, and I can go in and update them. Okay. So I would start, as I said, with the data quality and go through this and make sure that everything else is updated. You can also see other properties to review. Okay. So you can see how this actually works, that it shows you where I have issues with different properties. So this is really powerful, and this can go through your entire property database and say, do I actually need all of these properties? So I need to clean up now. Okay. Do I need these? What is the action? Do I hide? Okay. So I can see I've got no data and unused. So for example, do I have to hide this or do I delete this? For example, I have no data on about us. Do I really need this? View details. And I can say there's no data in here. And then the action could be export property history or hide. And I can hide that property. Will no longer count against your duplicates, no data and property. So I'm actually hidden that property and it's taken away. I haven't deleted it completely, but I have control over duplicates. Is interesting. Okay. So here you can go through and say hidden properties, all issues. Where do I have duplicate fields? So do I need average page views twice? Okay, business close date, company. Why do I have two company fields? So on and so forth. I'm not going to go into more detail, but I think this is clear. Property insights, very powerful. So again, you said property, we've got records, we've got formatting issues, duplicate. Then we've got a data sync. This, if I click on this, it will show me if I have any apps or any issues, similar to when you have a Salesforce and HubSpot app. This allows if I have any sync issues between the different apps that I'm syncing with HubSpot. So that's one way. Another way to actually go in and manage this. Okay, so this is my data module. This is new. And when you click in here, it actually allows you to start monitoring specific properties. So for example, if I think there are properties that are culprits of bad data coming in, I would want to monitor them. Okay, so for example, I'm going to look at the contacts and let's say country. So country region, maybe people are uploading problematic data, and then I can set it up. I can also set up a notification. So if this does happen, then please send a notification to Mark. Okay. And you'll see that they'll start seeing issues. Okay. And then I'll be able to manage the different properties here. So I can see, I want to stop manage. So this will be able to show me if there are issues around this. Okay, the different form, where they're coming from, where this property is connected. So all this allows you to manage your properties, and HubSpot will actually give you notifications, so you actually start seeing issues that can actually come through. So we detect unexpected change in your data, an issue will appear here. Okay, so this is a way to manage your data, take a look at it, make sure that everything's coming in, and make sure that everything's working correctly. The second side of the operational hub is in workflows. So again, I'm showing you the test version, which allows us to do everything. But if I showed you where to go and see the difference, but if I go into a contact and I create an uploaded database, so let's say, for example, I went in, so I say a use case could be that, again, this is similar to what we had in the backend, but if I wanted to say if the first name, I'm going to build up what HubSpot's already built for us, but if the first name is known, just want to show you how the workflow works as well. If the first name is known, now what I want to do is I want to fix it to capitalize it. So I go into data ops, okay? And here you'll see that if you have the professional, then you already have custom code and format data and send a workflow. If you have starter, then you don't have that. But let's start with format data. So format data, I have either custom code where I can go now and do many more things I'll show you in a second, or I have a property to format. So here I'll call this fix, set up a property, choose a format. So here I would capitalize first letter. Okay. And the property that I need to fix in this case is first name. So I've done the following. If first name is known, then please capitalize it. Okay. So that has already been done. Now, how do I know this is going to work? Because every single time the first name is filled out, it goes in and capitalizes it and then copies the income to first name. Okay, so you can see that's what it's doing. I could do a similar thing. Let me show you another option. So if you go into format data, you can start playing around with it. You've got the following: add a number, add an amount of time, calculate the square root, capitalize, change data format. So for example, if the data is coming in from a form, someone's uploading the data of a date, and the date is not how you want it because it's been done the wrong way around, or the US or UK way, I can change it around. Change to title case, convert to Unix, timestamp, divided number, for example. So if I don't want a calculated field, but I want in any case that when a certain amount comes in, I need to divide that by 12 months or whatever, I can just do whatever I want, divide a number, escapade in URL encode, remove HTML tag. So for example, if I don't want the HTML tag that's coming in when someone puts in their website, I can remove it. Round a number, subtract, test the number is visible, trim leading and white space. So you can do lots of things here. And save the output from this action with a property. Yes, saved into a property. Okay, so this is the formatting data, and you just choose your use case, and then again, I can do this on any of the fields. So I can do it for contact, for company, whatever it's coming in. In most cases, it will be contact, because if you think about it, that's where the information is coming in, but I can do it on a deal as well. So that is the data ops, the first one. The second one, so for example, if my Google Sheets was pulling in data being updated through the app, and that data didn't come in correctly, what I'll be able to do is I would be able to format the data before I actually copy it over to the field. The second thing that I can do, which is much more powerful, I think this is where we'll focus on for a few more minutes, today's will be a bit shorter than usual because we're going to go through this relatively fast. So here, this is for any of you who know how to code in Node.js or Python, or you can find the Python version of what you need to do. Here, in essence, now you have the opportunity to kind of do whatever you really want. I can go and ping an external source that pings an email through either a webhook, or I need to create custom code. So for example, I've got a use case that I need to now attach any of the attachments. And what I need to do now is for example, I have all my attachments somewhere else and I migrated them over, and now I need to attach them as a note to certain deals. So what I could do here was I can select either a contact, or I can say, okay, what is the deal? The recent deal close dates, and I can add a property, contact in workflow, or format data, or copy property. So here you can go in, or you can go in and actually build out or get the code that you need. Okay. And what it will do is it will give you a library and it will show you the input. So the input will come in here, and then the output I will see here, and you are able to test the action as well. Okay. So I can go and put in a certain person and it will test it. So there are quite a lot of use cases. What I would do is I would actually just Google custom code use cases, if you think about it, because there aren't really templates in this case. But it's really powerful, and you can do this for the first time allows you to really kind of do whatever you want in HubSpot. You will need a developer to build this out, but any custom code that I need to do something from the data and it comes into a workflow, update the data through Python, or pulls to an external source and pushes it through, that you can do. The third thing that you can do now is, and this you've had before, is send a webhook, either post or get. This could be use cases, for example, that I need to go and get data from a certain external enrichment site, or for example, I have the ability, before I send out an email, to do a post to an external system that actually updates to see if the email, ping the email to see if the email is legit. It will send me back an option that it's okay, and then I'll be able to send out the email. So here you have all kinds of options to have a webhook and to actually interact with the separate systems. Okay. One thing I would do is, if you also, as everything else, if you just Google, use cases for custom code operational hub. You've got this. That's what I was looking for. So I'm going to put this in the chat for everyone. Hang on, how do I add this in the chat? So this is a great resource. So here you've got different use cases. Validate an email address, like with the email hippo, that's what I talked about. Create tasks and relevant due date. Calculate MQL duration. It's going to have the complete address in a single property. Recreate monthly deals on the same day. Add a break line, so on and so forth. So you can see this is really powerful. Let me find one or two that I think could be really relevant for most people. So complete all tasks of a closed deal, for example. So you'll see this is great. This actually gives you the GitHub with the sample workflow code. And this is what you would put in that section that we talked about. And you actually copy the code and put it in. Once you copy and paste this in, then you'll see that it actually gives you exactly what you need. Okay. So you see there's lots of versions here. Okay. Weighted lead rotation. Dynamically update a Salesforce campaign, by the way, interesting. And I can see over time that more and more people turn a full name into the last name. This is also really cool. That happens a lot of times when people upload it. So if you pull this in, you'll see that it's going to give you the JS that you need to pull that through. Okay. HubSpot does not have associations. There's no ways to associate through a workflow. So this one is really powerful, actually. Sometimes I have to do an association, and this allows me now to do the association. Okay, so you'll see that people have come up with all kinds of use cases to do this. Okay, let me jump back forward where we were. Okay, so I think that is, again, the programmer automation we talked about, association labels that obviously comes in Operational Hub. But what's good about Operational Hub, as I said, is the standard sandbox account. Obviously, we get data sets, advanced data calculations and prep, custom options, advanced permissions. So there's lots of things that you can do here once you actually move to the next. I don't know if you guys have already played around with data sets, but that's something that you can also build out. It's more on the reporting side. Once you have, obviously, you can start building out templates. You can go and use a template that's already created, and it will already start building out closed loss analyzation. So it's worth looking at this. It's really powerful. The other thing that while we're here that I think has been very good understanding of the health of your sales cycle. So this is really cool. Okay, you can set these and you can review, and it will start telling you what's going on. So that's something that in data sets I would start using. The other thing in automation that is less to do with Operational Hub, but I think it's important. You create workflow, we always do from scratch. You'll see now that there's lots of templates. And I don't think everyone's aware of this, or at least I wasn't always aware of this. But now this has been really powerful now, is that when you're setting up your you're looking for specific templates, and instead of having to say, okay, how do I build this from scratch or Google it? So if I look at even on the Operational Hub, tell deal owners when they receive payments, create and assign tasks when a new deal is created, correct invalid.com with .com. Okay, so look, this is what we talked about. So this is your template, replace con with con, update, use template. If I click on that, automatically it creates a template for me. Done. With an explanation. So it's worth spending some time going through this and seeing, again, what templates that HubSpot's created. Again, you've got discover, create assignments, send welcome email, the basic ones that we, feel comfortable with. But there are also ones that we talked about that can use the Operational Hub here. Assign contacts and owner based on US region. Discover templates for you. Okay. So this is also really powerful. And again, as I said, if I want to do data cleanup, it shows me already. I don't have to start from scratch. This is where I suggest looking at the different versions that you could set up. So you don't have to invent the use cases. You can already start looking at them. Follow up, gather insights, nurture relationships, whatever you're interested, management payments. But if I look at Operational Hub, so I've got the set product plan to associate with payments, merge duplicate contacts that share the same number. Okay, so this will happen automatically. Think about it, watch. When the contact's phone number is known, run contacts through pre-written custom code, and then, so look, this is really powerful. So I can actually clean my database ahead of time and make sure that when things are coming through, again, I need enterprise for this one. Sorry, I need pro for this. But merge duplicate contacts that share the same phone number, how to use it, what you'll need, all required fields to be complicated, review and publish. So what it does is it actually goes and says if the phone number is known, defined by custom code. So you see, okay, I'll take the custom code. This custom code's already here. I don't have to invent it. And then the outcome is if you see that it failed to dedupe, and if not, it will actually merge between them. Okay, so I'm trying to see if there are any questions here that we can put forward with the few minutes we have left. I think, as I said, we're going to take this one a bit shorter than usual. But my suggestion is, as I said, one is to, again, you can open a dev account, play around with it, see what you need, take a trial, look at the Operational Hub. I think it's really powerful. I think it's worth, anyway, looking at the templates. That's something that you have the use cases, play around with the data fix, and then start building it in a way that it makes sure that HubSpot is working in the background and making sure cleaning the data for you. Because that, I think, is one of the biggest issues, especially when people are also importing. Filling out forms is one way we can fix it, and the other way is when people are importing into your database from the marketing side, or from ZoomInfo, or from any other, now they're becoming in from Clearbit, then you want the data to be clean and you'll be able to segment and you'll be able to work correctly. So I don't see if there are any other questions coming through. If that's not the case, then I'll give you guys back another 15 minutes, and the recording of this will be shortly, I think in the next half an hour. I can send this through. You just go into our website now, and the recordings are there. Let me just show everyone. If you go into Penguin Strategies and you go into HubSpot Hacks, now what I can do is I can look at Watch on Demand. I have all of the ones that we've done so far. Click on Watch Event, and it asks me to register, or in this case, enter the site. And then I can start watching the recording. So this is how you'll be able to get the platform, which we're very happy with. You'll be able to get all the information and share this with anyone else who's interested in the relevant content. Okay, thank you very much, and wish you guys a good weekend.